Good evening and welcome to Southern Florida, the New Smyrna Speedway. It is located, obviously, in New Smyrna, Florida. Here we are tonight for 200 laps of madness around, a 0.48 mile speedway in length. As we see the pace car getting down already, we are in our first heat race of the night. Enjoying alongside with me this evening from Charleston, South Carolina, Bucky Burt, baby. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Ray. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, and you as well, Ray. I'm excited for this race tonight. This is one of my favorite short tracks on iRacing.
Well, with that being said, these guys out here, there's going to be 14 of them around tonight. They actually set it up for about 3 heats, but we're only going to need 2. They're lined up for their first qualifier. Nobody went out and did any laps for qualifying, so we're going to go right off the bat and get things done with this first race. The first race being the heat race, obviously, to qualify for a position. They're coming around turn 4. Pace car's lights are off. We're ready to let them loose.
Green flag is out, and the 71 car of Peyton Howell is your leader, going into 1.
Peyton Howell takes to the point. Bradley Wilson right behind him to the outside, but he's got a challenge from the inside from Pete Polini. Billy Gray right behind them. And Derek Fulton to round out your top 5. Only 7 in this one. Again, 14 cars. We're going to split it down the middle. Navarro starts in back. He is our points leader, as well as Garrett Mains. Peyton Howell still out to the lead. And down on the bottom side he'll go. He's got a 2-car lead.
That's right. And I'm a little taken back, though, Ray, that Andrew Navarro started so far back in this heat. He's all the way at the back in last place currently. Your points leader struggling here at New Smyrna, possibly. We'll see where he finishes in this first heat to get a starting position. But with all that being said, the 1 car of Garrett Mains made an epic move there to take over the 4th position.
Starting all the way in the back. He's right in second, as I see right there. Just not to be corrected or anything. But
excuse me. Yes, you're correct.
All good. Time off at turn 3, down into turn 1, down to turn 2 on the backstretch. We'll get caught up here. We're just getting things rolling tonight. Turn 4, right now, Peyton Howell with the lead. Mains right on his tail, and he's chasing up that lead pretty quick. We got 5 laps in. 8 laps is the goal. We're going to have 3 to go next time by.
Howell still leads, but Garrett Mains is there. He is all over him. He's going to look high. They're going to run nose to tail. And Garrett Mains is going to look low. Ray, we got side by side at the finish line.
From 7th to 1st, man. From 7th to 1st with a white flag to go.
Oh,
Garrett Mains takes it, but he snagged over there, loses the rear end. Back to it he goes, though. Another little bit of a spin behind him. Everybody keeping it straight.
He does have damage on the right front, Ray. Peyton gave Garrett Mains a move. He punted him in the corner, sent him up the racetrack. It'll be interesting to see with that damage if he can get back to the front. And,
it is over now on the 8 laps. With the 8 laps in right now, Garrett Mains takes it from all the way from 7th all the way up to 1st, actually to 2nd, excuse me. And with that being said, our second heat race is getting ready to go. Peyton Howell takes the win there. There was some apologies over the radio, by the way, from Peyton Howell with Garrett Mains, but that allows Peyton Howell to take the win from the first heat. Second heat lining up.
I have to apologize. That race went by so quick. I didn't even look at the laps to see what lap we were on. I didn't realize we were on the last lap there. But that first race was quick and exciting. And these next 6 guys, one of the guys that you're going to be looking at is Curtis Chrisley in the 54. He'll be starting right up front there in this heat.
With Curtis Chrisley, by the way, with that 54 machine. He was in the Virtual Snowball iRacing Derby this past weekend. I've been looking before we started this race, trying to figure out where he finished. I do know he was, I believe, in the top 20. I did watch most of that race, and that was broadcast by iRacing. Your lineup here for this race. Again, we got 13 guys. I do see Bradley Wilson is not in there. Okay, so here we got Curtis Chrisley.
In the first heat.
Gotcha. Brandon Hawk there on the outside. Lee Morgan on the inside, the 2nd row. Jonathan Bell on the outside of the 3rd row. Ron Hart inside next. And Curran Church will round out all the top 6 on the 22 machine out front. Out back, excuse me. Again, trying to get things rolling tonight. We apologize joining you a little bit late here. Pace car lights are off one more time around. We're going to let them go for 8 more laps for this heat number 2.
Now, the number 27 machine, that is Curtis Chrisley. We said he's number 54. He is number 54, but for some reason, the iRacing paint is number 27. So
yeah, I'm seeing that now.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Kind of funky. Well, when you run custom numbers, sometimes that does happen. I'm not sure why it did that. So we do have a blinker there. That'd be Lee Morgan there on the actually Jonathan Bell on the outside of row 2. Hopefully Jonathan can keep his connection ahead. Pace car is off, and immediately they go to green.
Yeah, he's still blinking, Ray, but Curtis Chrisley does not get a good start. Brandon Hawk, my apologies. He's going to take the early jump there on the outside.
Hawk to the outside, holding his line pretty quickly. Falling behind him, that's Curtis Chrisley. Chrisley to the bottom, everybody single file down through turn 4. Lap 1 is going to be in the books this time. A little bit of bump off that 54 machine to Brandon Hawk. Hawk takes the lead immediately on the first lap. 1, 2, 3, 4, all in line.
Yeah, it's pretty single file. Oh, the 43 gets loose there on the exit, right? He's going to lose 2 spots here.
Lee Morgan slipping back there just a little bit. Gives third place to Ron Hart in that 87 machine. Ron making his way back up through. He started 5th place, now in 4th currently. Actually make it 3rd. Coming up through, trying to catch these top 2. The 53 machine of Hawk just leading this whole race. Chrisley's right there with him, but seems to be losing about a quarter of a car left, but it seems like he caught back up coming off of turn 4. Down the front straight they go. 3 in, 3 to go.
Yeah, Chrisley knows that he messed up that start leading the point, spun the tires there. He is trying his best to get back to the lead to finish where he started, but Brandon Hawk has just been out front in these first 5 laps.
Yeah, here we go down to the bottom side again. They're still trying to get around him. Chrisley just holding his own there in second. The 87 of Ron Hart right behind him, about 4 car lengths back. Everybody single file, no big changes going on. And lap 5 going on lap 6 should be white flag in the air this time.
Yeah, I don't think Chrisley's got anything for Brandon Hawk there. He's got about a 2 car length lead. Pretty easy race for him. And I don't think it really matters because these guys are still going to be starting up front. But Brandon Hawk's going to be your winner in heat race number 2. Curtis Chrisley will finish 2nd. And let's see. Hart is going to finish 3rd.
Well, with that all being said, we're going to get our feature up in about 2 minutes after their warm-up. If you would, let us know about the, the point standings, actually, if you would, guys. Get up there for the fans. Daniel Navarro right now is in the lead in the point standings. Garrett Mains in 2nd. Now, Garrett did take 2nd in that heat race. He's going to start probably, I believe, on the inside of the 2nd row for this feature tonight. Ron Hart is in 3rd. He didn't change any positions from last week, but Curtis Chrisley, one of the guys you just saw taking 2nd in that 2nd heat race, he is in the 4th place position, and after last week's race, runs up 3 positions from 7th. Derek Fulton is in our 5th place position. James Morgan tied with him right now in points. That's 5th and 6th, actually. Bradley Wilson is 7th. 8th is Brandon Hawk, who you just saw win that heat race. 9th is Billy Gray, and 10th is Bladen Edwards.
I want to remind everybody this is the title sponsor of the race. This is the 7 C's. What's the other part, Ray?
All right, it's the 7 C's Corporate Cruises 200 tonight from New Smyrna Speedway. 200 laps, half-mile facility, 100 miles. These guys are going to take and hammer it out. I believe it, 200 laps, 100 miles, 0.48 to be specific. So just a hair under 100 miles. But again, they're going to put these cars to the test. And with only that few guys that we've got here tonight, we're hoping to see a long green flag run. And I'm not certain about what they've got for fuel mileage on these cars, but I'm thinking they'll come in at least 2 pit stops in the long run, depending on how many cautions we got. Super late miles is what we're running. Fuel limit is only 50%, so a 22-gallon fuel cell, they'll run 11 gallons, and only have a 2-tire limit. So basically, they go out on 1 set that they begin with after their warm-up, and after the warm-up, they only have 2 sets that they can change from out the rest of the race. So a little bit of a modified setup tonight, nothing big. Everybody's kind of got an open setup. They do have a disqualification limit, though, Bucky. I mean, if they take and go out, spin, hit the wall, lose control, any of that, and iRacing takes and gives them a little X. If it adds up to 28, boom, they're out of the server like that immediately. No fast repairs, so whatever they got, they got.
Now, Ray, explain to the viewers what invert 5 means in the heat racing style for tonight.
Well, if you take a look, it says invert on our our screens anyways. It inverts your heat races. So whoever won first goes back 5, and obviously 5 to first, 4th to second, second to 4th, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, third stays the same. So you're going to see a mix-up here on our starting position tonight. Again, 13 guys are ready to start this race tonight. And Pete Polini, actually, by default with the 5 invert, is going to start on the pole.
Pretty interesting stuff here, Ray. You would think that some of these guys would have played a little strategy to get a start up front, but I don't think that really matters. We saw in the real Snowball Derby that that we had guys that started at the back and finished up front. That is what you get when you come to short track racing. So, and New Smyrna is no different.
No, sir, not at all. I mean, again, this is one of the tracks that's been around for a long, long time. They race weekly down there in Florida, and not any exception tonight. I do not see, by the way, our pole sitter, Pete Pelini, lining up. We'll get your lineup here. If Pete Pelini was there, he'd be on the point. Outside will be Curtis Chrisley for row 1. Row number 2 inside will be Garrett Mains in the number 1 machine. Outside of him, Brandon Hawk. Inside row 3, Peyton Howell will take the point, and Ron Hart will be in 6.
In the 7th place, we'll have Andrew Navarro. 8th will be Kernan Church. 9th will be Billy Gray. 10th is going to be Lee Morgan. And 11th will be Bradley Wilson. Will be Jonathan Bell. And rounding out your field in 13th will be Derek Fulton.
Going to be a fun race tonight here on the Flatout Racing Network. We're getting them lined up down through turn 1. Everybody's ready for tonight. Clean and green racing, hopefully all the way to the end. One of the guys keep an eye on, Garrett Mains. He just came from the back of the field during the heat race from 7th position in 8 laps to take over the lead, and then suddenly, unfortunately, got rear-ended by Peyton Howell in the 71. At least that's what it looked like from here. No blame game by any means. Again, I'm sure that there was some issues. Regardless, pace car is off, and we're ready to go green tonight. That'll put Garrett on the point, and green flag is in the air.
Yep, at the 54 of Curtis Critchley, he's going to get the outside line moving. No spinning tires in this race, Ray, but we got a drag race going into turn 3.
Beautiful start by Critchley to the outside. He's able to start right with Garrett, trying to do the crossover, which wasn't legitly there. He didn't have the momentum. He's got a rear end full of that 71 machine of Peyton Howell. Howell to the bottom side. He shuts the door, trying to take and get that 54 to the bottom back in the groove. That's where you want to be through these corners.
Look now, but Navarro, your points leader, was making some moves there to put a battle for third, and he's going to look underneath the 71 of Peyton Howell, but he's going to line up beside him here, Ray, going into the backstretch.
A lot of glowing rotors right off the bat. We're only on lap 3, and everybody's holding that brake trail braking. And what that means is basically as they're going through the corners, they're keeping the RPMs of those engines up. 600 horsepower in these super late models, using the brake to slow the car down as well as help turn it to the inside. Position 3 right now, 71 of Peyton Howell. It looks like Navarro's still trying to get by him. Navarro back up behind him right in his line. A little early to be making moves like this, but he gets the nose down there to the left rear corner. The spotter calls it. The 71 stays high. He has the point. Navarro has a chance, though, back down through turn 1. Navarro to the inside of the 71 of Howell.
Ray, how important is it to save tires here? We've got 200 laps. I don't think pitting's going to be a big deal in this race, maybe one stop. What are your thoughts on racing very, very hard in the early stages?
Well, it comes down to these Hoosiers. I mean, the Goodyear tires, they last pretty good in your Cup Xfinity. I've said that a million times before. But these Hoosier tires they got on asphalt do a pretty good job, but they're a biased tire. They're a little less of a ply. I mean, they're a lot more pliable, I should say, so they flex a lot more with the sidewalls. Nylon instead of steel-belted radials. And by the way, the 71 of Peyton Howell, not sure if he's wasting them already, but he's to the outside getting freight train. That's 87 of Hart goes below him. Billy Gray's looking for that opening. He's not there just yet. He'll fall back in line, the 71, leading all the way down to about 6th position as he crosses the line. But these tires definitely are important to save. I mean, they're no thinner than any other racing tire. But nonetheless, you got to realize you're going to wear them out pretty quick, especially on a short track between the heat from the brakes, the heat from the tires, the asphalt itself. So again, the low side is definitely going to be a point where you're going to wear them out. But with an open setup, there's a lot of guys that'll set up for the long runs and hopefully save their tires, maybe roll it off the right rear a little bit more, even using the left rear on these short tracks as much as they possibly can. And back up to the front, by the way, a challenge for the lead right now. Mains is still on the point, but that Curtis Critchley 54 machine, or 27 on your screen, is right there following in his tracks.
That's right, and your points leader Navarro is into third, but he's about a second and a half back. Actually, right now, he's 1.6 seconds back. And when he was trying to make that move for third, Ray, he lost a lot of time to the leaders. And now these leaders, Garrett Mains and Curtis Critchley, they are putting on a show here, battling for first. Is Garrett Mains, is he in the position to hold him off or just let him go and try to stay close?
I think Curtis Critchley's got the right idea. Going to follow him around from the bumper cam, obviously, here. He's got the right idea to kind of follow him for a little while, because here's the deal. You don't want to, like we were just talking about tires earlier, you don't want to wear this out too quick. You can do that pretty easily, obviously. Lap 12 of 200. We're still at it right now. Challenge back, like you said there, for the 51 machine. And it looks like the 7 of Derek Fulton. They fall back in line. Fulton looks to the inside. But, yeah, I would definitely save some tires in the long run. Fulton looking to the bottom, though, that 51 machine. Still trying for position, but looks like Bradley Wilson has got it down there in the second groove, so he'll come down one more time. We'll see if he does the same thing in turn 3. Down to the yellow line he'll go, trying to shorten up that turn a little bit more, and Billy Gray just ahead of him. But Gray's pulling away all by himself there in 7th.
That's right. As these leaders are just running nose to tail, Navarro is just staying right there where he is, 1.6 seconds back, not really making up any ground. But Garrett Mains is your leader, Curtis Critchley second, and your points leader, Andrew Navarro's third. Brandon Hawk is 4th, Ron Hart is 5th. Peyton Howell, who was running 3rd, dropped all the way back to 6th. Billy Gray 7th, 8th is Bradley Wilson, Derek Fulton 9th, Jonathan Bell 10th, Lee Morgan 11th, Pete Polini is 12th, and it looks like Dan Gallant is the guy that, Pete Polini and Dan Gallant did not start the race, so they are behind the wall. So
DNS is there, yep.
Yep, so, but pretty smooth sailing. Everybody's pretty much single file. There is a hornet's nest, if you will, right there behind the Ron Hart machine, I believe it is. He is, I'm not saying he's holding anybody up, but everyone's just kind of just following the leader. And these guys are they can't shake each other. They're all just right there. But anyway, the leaders are still out front. Critchley not really putting too much pressure. Oh, we got a spinner in the back. Just as I said, they were. Yeah, just as I said, they were running nose to tail there. I guess Bradley Wilson got turned.
Caution number 1 bringing out first time tonight, 51 of Bradley Wilson. Looks like he may have had some help depending on who was close to him at the time. If we can get a replay up here, we'll get our film reversed. Watch that 51 machine there. He'll come down through turn, I believe it's 3 and 4 there. Down the front stretch.
There was a little bit of... the 11. Yeah, the 11 looks like he kind of checked up a little bit in the turn before, but Derek Fulton ended up getting into the back of Bradley Wilson. I don't think it was intentional. All the leaders are coming down pit road, though, so this will be a pit stop for fresh tires and some fuel. Now, Ray, these guys have a limited set of tires, correct?
There is a limited set of tires of 2 tires. That's what I did read in the instructions. I don't see any jacks going underneath those cars, but I do see fuel only at this point. It's only 20 laps in. So another little angle here. We're going to watch there. Fulton's right in front of you. We're riding along the car behind them. He tries to force the issue down the bottom. The 51 didn't see him. And unfortunately, just a series of events kind of put him there into the corner. I'm trying to see who we were riding with. I think that may have been not Hawk. But 20. It was Bell.
Mr. Bell,
78. Jonathan Bell, 78, obviously, on board. And you see Mr. Bell coming off pit lane right now. Nobody got tires that I saw. I can tell you that on my screen, at least, nothing that was intentional getting tires or anything. But fuel would definitely be the call. Garrett Mains back out front. Curtis Critchley. Brandon Hawk is your top 3. Pace car lights are on. If you don't mind, we'll take our first break in the night. You're watching the 7 Seas Corporate Cruises 200. Short break, right back to Green Flag Racing off of turn 3. Pace car lights are off and off the speedway there at the restart line. And it looks like Mains waits for the entire field. It looks like Chrisley jumped out ahead. We're not sure if they're going to let that go or not. Usually you cannot beat the leader back to the line, but Chrisley did exactly that on the restart. Mains, I don't know if he missed a gear. I don't think he spun the
I don't
tires
know.
by any means.
It looked like he didn't go, Ray. It was almost just like he was coasting until he got to the start-finish line.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see what happens if Curtis Chrisley gives the spot back, or if they say it's a clean restart.
Yeah, that was kind of my curiosity on that thing. So,
ooh, the 53 of Brandon Hawk gets loose there. He was putting a challenge on Andrew Navarro, but got loose underneath him, and he's just going to settle into 4th place.
Bunch of gaggle of cars in the back watching the 43 of Lee Morgan right now just for a minute. He got underneath the 78 of Jonathan Bell. Belth went up the track, was able to hold on to that machine and continue. But again, these tires aren't totally worn in yet. I'd say about another 20 or 25 laps is going to be to the point where they're going to be starting to wear out pretty hard. Again, short track racing, short track tires, and we go back up front for a moment where Chrisley, with the great restart, is leading this thing. And again, just the usual rules, apparently. Maybe it's a little bit different in this league. That's one thing I don't know. But Mains, right from the front bumper cam of Mains' number 1 car. He looks to the inside. Not a chance there. Still got the speed, and Mains know how to handle his machines. I'll tell you that right now. This is a future Coca-Cola superstar we're looking at from the front bumper there in that number 1 machine. Down the backstretch, he'll go. Not touching the rear end of that 54 of Chrisley. Chrisley still to the point. He makes a little bit of a higher line, but Mains right to the bottom. He's right with him. He's just looking for a chance to pounce. And
currently our ticker is showing, instead of how many seconds back these guys are from the leaders, it's showing how many laps they have ran so far in the race. So we will get that fixed. Just wanted to bring attention to it. These guys are not 27 laps down. They're on lap 27 now, 28. Curtis Chrisley is your leader. Garrett Mains is 2nd. Andrew Navarro is 3rd.
Points leader in 3rd, and he looks like he's lost a little ground since the restart there, but nonetheless, keeping up there with Garrett Mains. He's about maybe half a second between the two of them. 3 cars back, but he has some company as well with the Brandon Hawk machine. The 53 right behind him. Just everybody following their line, and like I was talking earlier, Bucky, you don't really want to rush it right now. I mean, you get situations where you want to pass, like what happened between the 51 and 7 earlier, obviously to bring out our first caution of the evening. And these guys still seem to be doing a great job right in line. Just take your time. A lot of racing to go yet, 170 laps yet. We're on lap 31 here at New Smyrna.
Now, are these 2 additional sets of tires these guys have, or is it the set they're on and 1 additional set in the race?
Pretty sure they're able to change 2, if I'm not mistaken. In other words, they got the set they started on, and I believe 2 more in the pits. That's what usually, if it says 2, that's what iRacing usually allows to see of what's available to them while they're racing. So in other words, right now, 2 sets are in the pits, 3 sets total for this tonight. But as we were saying earlier, depending on how much fuel run they got, because they're only running 50% fuel max, we're going to see if they can get them towards lap 100 before they pit again.
I really do think, Ray, that we will only see 1 more stop to finish this race unless we get another caution. But Garrett Mains is looking all over Curtis Chrisley. He's looking low. And there was a shot, Ray, a few moments ago where we saw on the right front of Garrett Mains' car, his rotors are glowing. So we're only 34 laps into this thing, and they are bright, bright red as he is looking underneath Curtis Chrisley for first.
Yeah, they got a lot of front brake bias in these cars, and obviously you're looking from the cockpit there, passenger seat, if there was one, of the number 1 machine there in second place.
Got a challenge for third.
Saw that there with the 53 of Brandon Hawk to the inside of the 2 of Navarro. Navarro didn't have any of that. He jammed right back coming off of turn 2 and was able to keep up into the 3rd place position. In fact, pull a little bit on the 53 of Brandon Hawk. When you take and shorten up a turn, in other words, get toward the bottom, you got to turn the wheel a little bit tighter. And what it comes down to is you got to come back out of it pretty quick. You're losing a lot of speed, but you're shortening up your turn. Now, what we're talking about with the glowing rotors, a lot of front brake bias. These guys are using the front brakes a lot in these cars compared to the rear. This way it allows them to keep the rear spinning and the RPMs up on these cars. That's where trail braking comes in. And as you can see, those glowing rotors are not getting a chance to cool down on this little 0.48 short track here in Florida. So again, back up front, Curtis Chrisley still leading it. Looks like Mains is looking to the inside coming off of 4, but not a chance to get there. Right in the tire tracks, following him around. Mains just kind of biding his time. Plenty of time for the end of this race, as we said 1,000,000 times over. Navarro in 3rd. Hawk still challenging him for that, going 4th. And about another 3 car lengths back out of your top 5 is Ron Hart in the 87.
One thing is interesting, Ray. It looks like Curtis Chrisley in the 54 with 27 on everyone's screen. He's not able to run the first lane there in the turn. His car is just not sticking there. Garrett Mains, the guy in second place, who's going to be running for the e-racing NASCAR series, he's able to run on the yellow line. And we got a pitter, who is that coming down pit road? The 78 of Jonathan Bell is making a unscheduled pit stop. I know on your screen it said the 94. That's why I was struggling there to see. But anyway, but still a battle for the lead here. Garrett Mains literally putting the pressure on Curtis Chrisley, hoping he makes a mistake.
Well, keep an eye on Garrett Mains. See how he's to the bottom right there. He's riding that bottom line. He's been saving his tires, and how he's been doing that, he's been arcing the corners. He'll come off the top side of the corner right here. You can see a little bit of that. See how he's in the second groove? He'll bring that car right down to the bottom, and that gives a pounce and a great burst of speed coming out of turn 2. But it looks like Chrisley was able to take and hold that speed. He's just riding that bottom through 3 and 4 there with the one machine. And the
I was going to say,
machine.
but I was going to say one thing that kind of made me pay attention to how he runs each turn, because he was exiting so low and getting that launch off. And in 3 and 4, he literally runs on the yellow line, and then 1 and 2, he's kind of riding in Curtis Chrisley's tracks, as you see right there. So he's very consistent with how he attacks this racetrack, and it's very impressive to watch. It's really is just to watch how he attacks this racetrack and how he sets up Curtis Chrisley. It'll be interesting to see as Curtis Chrisley gets a little loose there in the middle of the turn. It'll be interesting, Ray, as we get a little later in this run when tire wear starts to go away. I really do think Garrett Mains might have the edge there, just because to me, just watching as a spectator, to me, it just seems like Garrett Mains is not abusing the race car. He's just hitting his marks, and he's getting closer lap by lap to being literally on the back bumper of Curtis Chrisley.
Doing a fantastic job, and again, that's why he's pro, and he's got over 2,000 wins here on the iRacing service. We've mentioned that before. The last race, right to the rear bumper he goes. He's going to try it again down to the bottom. You watch him ride that yellow line coming off the turn, down through turn 4. There's pit entrance right there.
I was going to say that I hope in our next camera angle, if we can maybe ride on board with Garrett Mains and kind of watch him attack. We got a wreck on the track. The 71 goes around. The 71 is Peyton Howell. So, dang, I was really looking forward to watching Garrett Mains possibly make a move on Curtis Chrisley, but the yellow comes out with the 71 going around. We're going to look at the replay and see if there was any help or if it was all by himself. Ray, go ahead.
Looked like it's all by himself coming off of turn 4. Gets over that restart line, just loses it. The rear end comes around on him. He'll stop just about catch. Oh, he did catch a little bit. I believe that 43 machine. That's Lee Morgan. But again, gets it back straightened up. Peyton Howell still back on the racetrack. Everybody going straight now. We'll get him re-racked right after this break. And again, you're watching the 7 Seas Corporate Cruises 200 on the Flatout Racing Network here from New Smyrna Speedway, Florida. Peyton Howell is leading this race. Hawk right now in second. Peyton Howell got past Hawk just a few laps ago. Garrett Mains has made his way up to the top two.
Yeah.
Now
yeah,
without challenge from Chrisley. My goodness.
Yeah, I was just going to say that he has literally caught these guys. And not only does he have more fuel in the tank, but he has a fast hot rod, right? There's no denying that the number one machine is the fastest car on the racetrack tonight.
And we're good for broadcast, by the way, on audio. We're good there. That just came on. Peyton Howell, appreciate you guys joining us. We're not sure how far the audio has been out, but we are back. Peyton Howell leads this thing in the 71 machine after a south spin to make out the second caution, made his way back up to the field. Hawk is in second in that 53 machine. Garrett Mains, one of the guys that has taken fuel only about 20 laps ago. Everybody else was about 10 laps beforehand. Mains has got an advantage. Mains has got an advantage on everybody with that. And Curtis Chrisley, who led most of this race earlier on, right now in fourth place. 79 laps in, going to hit lap 80 this time at the stripe.
That's right. It's been a fairly clean race, right? These guys put on a great show. A lot of us running single file. It's really about just hitting your marks and getting the run when you can. But Garrett Mains is there. The 53 of Brandon Hawk got loose on his own, and that just causes Garrett Mains to literally go to the back bumper as you're riding along with him currently on the bumper cam.
Yeah, I was going to say Garrett Mains has just got his line back. Right to that bottom he'll go and arcs it high down to the bottom side. Now we'll see if he does the same thing on the bottom in 3 and 4 like he did before, and he does. This is his long run deal. That's what it is. He realizes what's going on. He's so far into the run, the tires are where they want him, and watch, he'll arc it from the second groove, and then he'll bring it down slowly right to the yellow line right there in second, and down through 3 and 4 like we were talking about before. He'll ride that yellow line in that third place spot, and that has got a little bit high that time. He had to check up for the 53. Brandon Hawk, unfortunately, kind of made him check up just a little bit, but down through turn 1, it's like a big accordion effect between these top 4 cars.
Yeah, Garrett Mains has to be careful when he decides to make the move because Brandon Hawk's not really giving him too much room. As you look, Curtis Chrisley is going to look underneath Garrett Mains. Is going to cause him to run high, but Curtis Chrisley gets loose there on the exit of the corner, so he's not a threat anymore. But Garrett Mains is back all over Brandon Hawk's rear bumper.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to count out Chrisley just yet. By the way, 117 laps to go.
Battle for second.
Battle for second right now. I saw that coming there. Leans to the bottom side. It looks like the 53 to the outside. He'll fall back up in that third groove. Gives Chrisley the option from the inside of Hawk to try to get past him. Chrisley tries. Not there yet, but he follows Mains through. And the 53 caught up in that third groove. 116 laps to go. What I was going to say, nobody that I've seen taking tires yet. I think we're going to see a pit stop in the next 20 or 30 laps where these guys are going to get some fresh Hoosiers on these tires.
Well, I would almost expect to see Garrett Mains run out the fuel cycle and get himself into a position where he could have some of these guys a couple of laps down if we stay green. I just, that's what I would do with tires not really being that big of a difference. Now, once these guys do pit and they get fuel in tires and they're knocking off some time, then obviously, you know, Garrett Mains will have to make that decision. That team will decide what to do. But he was committed to coming in earlier and topping off for fuel when no one else did. And I would just assume that he's the type of racer and that team, they're going to stick to their guns. They have a plan here tonight. He's taken the lead from Peyton Howell. Actually, they're going to keep it side by side. But I think after they, he's going to run him up the track. He's going to have the lead here, Ray, coming out of the corner, I think.
Howell just about touches that outside retaining barrier, but keeps it under control. Still side by side. Howell's not having any of that, but Chrisley is going to follow Mains through if there's going to be a hole, because it looked like he was going to have it there. 71 with a run, but it looks like he's going to go back up the track again. He'll lose about a half a car length to the number one, side by side down the backstretch. Mains has got the preferred line, and he's doing a fantastic job with it. But I can tell you this, it's hard to drive on the outside line like Peyton Howell's doing. So Peyton Howell still doing a terrific job, just making drag race after drag race, lap after lap, looking to take back the top spot. But right now, leading in second, and it looks like Mains has got it by a nose right there at the line, coming down through turn 1 and 2. He's going to give it a chance again. Nope, not enough. Actually, that's 3 and 4. My apologies. The 71 is back in second place.
This in turn 1, Garrett Mains is going to run up the track. For the last 3 or 4 laps, in 1 and 2, Garrett Mains literally runs the 71 car up the track to try and get the run off for him to lose his momentum, and he finally made it stick there a lap ago. So Peyton Howell is falling back. He's under siege by the 87 of Ron Hart for that 4th position. Garrett Mains is your leader, and he's got a pretty decent lead on Curtis Chrisley, about a car length and a half.
Took him about 30 laps to get back up there, but he did exactly that. By the way, the 71 machine, Peyton Howell, who was leading, if you look, he is way, way loose, like a 4-tire.
I think he burned his tire.
I think he burned everything up on that one run. And, yeah, I mean, that outside line's not where you really want to be. So now that he's burned it up, unfortunately able to kind of hold on to it, though, at this point, fortunately, I should say. And like you just said, Garrett Mains just bided his time to get back up front. Chrisley in second. Chrisley kind of holding on. He was up with Mains for quite a bit, and it looks like Mains has got the preferred line to take and put him back another car length coming down the front chute.
That's right. Curtis Chrisley is going to go into turns 1 and 2. Fitted Ray to running his line around this racetrack, and I'm really surprised nobody's picked up on it in the race. Or maybe they just can't get their car to turn like his.
My next question is who's going to be the first to come in and get tires? Because now would be the opportunity. Lap 97, 104, now 103 to go when they hit the stripe. And, well, now would be the time. They got 2 sets extra, but nobody's taken them as of yet that I've seen. And, man, they're going to need them pretty quick.
Yeah, I think everyone came into this race saying we're only going to use 1 set because you don't really need to pit that often. Now they've already pitted 2 or 3 times in Garrett Mains' position where he's pitted the 3 times. Everyone else has pitted twice just for fuel. I really think a lot of these guys are committed to only pitting for tires once, unless they're saving that last set for maybe a late race caution.
I'm curious on something. I'm going to look back in my my lap counter here. I know the 71 pitted after that 1 self spin. I'm wondering if he got tires, and the reason being he would have burned that second set up pretty quick if that was the case. If not, iRacing also builds into if you take a spin and you lock up your tires, it does wear those tires off. So your percentages go down, you heat them up, and basically you're down. You got to get fresh tires to get back out. And I'm wondering if that's what the 71 did. I'm going to keep an eye on that as I go, and I'll let you know exactly what I find out. So, again, back up front, though, Garrett Mains, Curtis Chrisley just putting on a show, and they're all by their lonesome out there up front. Chrisley did get the wall 2 laps ago. That's what our producer is telling us. I did miss that because I'm watching the replay on my end on my screen of the 71. By the way, fellas, the 71 did take right and left-hand side tires. I'm watching that right now. That was on lap 51, so he does have 1 set of his tires out. He is the only car that I know of that was on fresh tires, and with that run that he had, I think he beat the 11-11 hoot out of him, man, and they just don't grip anymore. So 71 right now riding back in the 7th place, able to take and still kind of keep it midfield. So we'll see if we get a chance with him later on with some fresh tires, but back up front, again, our leaders right now. Curtis Chrisley is in 2nd place, and behind them from the second, from first back to 3rd is 1.091 seconds. So 1 second between 1st and 3rd. Right in the middle of that is that 54/27 machine on your screen. Oh, did Mains just tap the wall? That's what it looked like from the bumper cam coming out of turn 3. Not certain. Maybe it's just a little optical illusion there I'm seeing, but I'll tell you what.
iRacing did change the model for when these cars get close to the wall to where they can run it without touching it. But we do have lap traffic up ahead for Garrett Mains. I do want to point out that what is very impressive about this run by Garrett Mains is now knowing that the 71 of Peyton Howell had fresh tires at like 50-plus laps. The fact that Garrett Mains was able to outrace him, those old tires, is just very impressive.
Well,
and it really proves that Garrett Mains is the class of the field tonight, and that he's literally figured this racetrack out to where he can save his tires for the long run.
Well, to give you an idea, a little bit of background of Garrett Mains, I know this pretty well. Garrett Mains, of course, again, I said, over 2,000 victories here on the iRacing service. Man, I'm fighting to get 3. This kid is good. The second thing is that Smithfield on his car. A lot of guys will put different sponsors on their car just because they like that sponsor. No, that's a real sponsor. That is Smithfield Meats Bacon. That is exactly what you see in the Cup Series, as well as if you look on his rear deck lid, you'll see the letters ESE. That is Elliott Sadler eSports. So, yes, he is one of Elliott Sadler's drivers. That is one biggest reason why he made the Coca-Cola Series, because of the fact of the talent that this young man has, and just amazing how he can handle a machine and how quick he can go. Lap traffic becoming a factor for the first time tonight. Bradley Wilson in that 51 machine. He is 11th. Ahead of him is Lee Morgan in the 43, and it looks like those guys are going to be the first 2 to go lap down here very shortly to the leader of Garrett Mains.
That's right. It'll be interesting to see if Curtis Chrisley can get even closer to Garrett Mains with the lap traffic, but Bradley Wilson's going to get out of the way. Garrett Mains is going to pass him with ease, but Curtis Chrisley is there.
Chrisley right to the rear bumper of him, pulls off just a little bit, or backs off anyways. They go down to the next turn. The next victim, that 43, unfortunately, Lee Morgan, not able to keep up with the field. Everybody right now on the older tires, with the exception of the 71 who wore them out. 43 goes to the top. Lee gets out of the way, lets the leaders by. Right now, the top 2 are pulling away. I said earlier, it was 1 second between first and third. Now it is 1.54. So Mains, just a phenomenal job saving those tires. We're on lap 112, over halfway through this race. And Mains has been, like you just said earlier, Bucky, the class of the field. A little bit high that time coming down through turn 1. Still gets it back to the bottom and able to take off that corner with very big ease. Man, he's making this look pretty damn easy. But, I'm telling you, it isn't as easy as it looks of cars just going around and around all day. Trust me, it takes a lot of talent to do what these guys do, especially in the real world.
Ooh.
A little bit of challenge there from the 87, watching that 87 Ron Hart. That's 4th place, by the way. And 53 of Brandon Hawk is in 3rd. So that is a lap car again. The 51 of Bradley Wilson, that the 87 is attempting to get around. They come around turn 4. Let's see, Wilson, will he go to the top side this time? Yes, he will. He'll leave the bottom door open for the 87 machine. Ron Hart will go by. They touch just a little bit. They'll touch again going down the back stretch.
I don't think the 87 is happy with the 51 of Bradley Wilson, because Wilson got out of the way for the leaders, but when it came to the 87, it's almost like he's like, no, not for you, I'm not going to do that. And the 87 gave him a little, we got a caution out.
Looking around the speedway.
71 machine.
I'm going to believe that's probably another self spin as much as he's worn out. 3rd caution of the night right now, lap 116. 71 brings it out for the 2nd time tonight. Again, that is a 71 of Peyton Howell. We'll see right now. Did he have help? I don't believe he did. That's Navarro just ahead of him going down the turn. And did he do the same exact place again? Yes, he did. 71 coming around that restart line by the cone. That is exactly what happened to him last time. A little bit of right rear slamming against the inside wall, though. Now you're going to see everybody come down pit road.
Yep, leaders are on pit road. We'll see if they take their tires here. I definitely would, and save that last set for a late race caution.
Keeping an eye right now from my screen on the number 1.
Right side's going up on 1.
Right side going up on a 1 to 54. 53 is not taking tires. Not sure if he got anything earlier. Brandon Hawk, right side's down the number 1. First can is in. They're only 5-gallon cans with these guys. Left side up on the 1 and the 54. 4 fresh Hoosiers on those machines. 53 beats them out. Fuel only. 87 Ron Hart, same exact thing. I believe that's going to be a bad thing for those guys, with these guys with 4 fresh tires that have been up front all night long. By the way, Curtis Chrisley, looking at the left front of that machine when you have an opportunity, if you guys can get a camera on it, there is some damage to that 54 of Curtis Chrisley. Not sure where it came from, but I do see the left front fender kind of up in the air. If you look to there, right there, you see some damage there. You see that tire sticking out from underneath that fender, almost kind of looking like a modified. I believe there was some contact there we didn't catch. Regardless, a little damage from the 54 machine. He'll restart. Looks to be 6 at this point in time, depending on how they stack up. Again,
if I'm not mistaken, I want to say I saw him have contact when he was battling in like the 4th, when he got stuck to the outside right in the race.
It sounds about right when he was on the outside, because someone would have came up.
He got trained.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say
I want to say that's where I saw that.
Well, with all this going on, we just want to remind you you're watching the Flatout Racing Network. If you kind of like what you hear, what you see, you appreciate the like, appreciate the share, subscribe, whatever buttons you got to press, regardless, we'd like you to join us again, obviously, for the Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series. We go short tracks week to week. Next week will actually be our final race of the winter season before we break for Christmas. And again, tonight, you're watching the 7 Seas Corporate Cruises 200 for 200 laps here at New Smyrna Speedway. And these guys are putting on a killer show. Pace car lights are off. We're going to go green next time by, Mr. Bucky.
All right, 79 laps are left in this race. And those 79 laps are going to go by pretty quickly. But this restart's going to be interesting. You got Class of the Field up there restarting in fourth on the outside. And you're going to have the 53 of Brandon Hawk back up front. He started this race on the pole, I believe. No, excuse me, Garrett Mains did. So the pace car is going to be going down pit road, and the 87 is going to get a jump. Garrett Mains is all over him.
Making it 3 wide. Garrett to the outside, able to hold it with them fresh tires. Back on the throttle, he'll go. Jumps to the front of this field immediately. 87 Ron Hart, by the way, there in second. I believe he spun his tires. Those are old tires. All he did was get fuel on that pit stop. Behind him, the 53 of Brandon Hawk, able to hold it back up. Hawk was leading most of the laps earlier. Chrisley behind him. Keep an eye out for Chrisley. I do see that there's a pass for the cars behind. That's the 51 of Bradley Wilson. He was one of the lap cars earlier. It looks like they're back on the lead lap. Right now, only one car being shown a lap down. That's the 43 of Lee Morgan. And it looks
51 with the Lucky Dog.
Looks like 51 of Bradley Wilson being a lucky dog on some fresh tires there. Now to the inside here, we see the 11 right now, Billy Gray. He's on the move up through. Fresh tires on that machine, I believe. And that is just behind the 51 machine of Bradley Wilson, but way up front, man. Garrett Mains has made his way out front. He is 1.169 back to second place of Ron Hart in that 87 machine.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, the 51 was the lucky dog, and he actually made the pass on the 43 for the lucky dog position about 2 or 3 laps after getting passed to go a lap down. He made that move underneath the 43 when the 43 went way high for the leader. So that is how Bradley Wilson got the the lucky dog position. And he's making the most of it, getting back on the lead lap here. He's all over the 87 machine of Ron Hart.
Chrisley trying to get back up to the leader of Mains. He's got 4 fresh Hoosiers on that tire or on that car as well. Navarro, our points leader, again right behind him in the tire tracks. Fresh tires on that number 2 machine as well. Here we got a shot of the 87 of Ron Hart, unfortunately falling back. The 27/54 on our screens, that's Curtis Chrisley. 27 being shown in custom number 54. Caution for the 4th time is
Derek
on
Fulton. Yeah, Derek Fulton's going to go around on the back stretch. We'll see if he got help here under the replay.
Ryan up back up. I'm being told on the radio, I believe
he got turned by the 11.
Yep, the 11 got in there a little bit hard. I heard old tires was the word that I heard. Just took the air in the rear bumper there and kind of got the rear end loose of that 7-0 car, 7D actually. And number 7 being shown in 10th position. That is Derek Fulton again tonight. Top 11 cars still on, 10 cars on the lead lap. Derek Fulton in 10th. And it looks like the 71 machine of Peyton Howell is on pit road as well as the 7 of Derek Fulton. I think they're going to get some fresh rubber on those cars. If you don't mind, I think we'll take our 3rd break of the night, lap 130. We're going to have 70 laps to go, if not a little less when you come back. Flatout Racing Network, we appreciate you being here. You're watching the 7 Seas Corporate Cruises 200 live from New Smyrna Speedway. Lineup's back down here, down to the back stretch. It looks like Curtis Chrisley riding the bottom of that track during the break there on the apron, trying to save some fuel. Pace car's coming around turn 4. And Bucky, I'll let you call the green, buddy.
Pace car is on pit road, and Curtis Chrisley's going to get the jump, and Navarro's going to take the lead here going into 1.
Slight flasher out of Kern Church there in the 22. He gets a tap from Garrett Mains. He'll go on the outside fence, and that'll bring out the 5th caution of the night. Unfortunately, just got loose with that 22 machine, and that was an immediate caution. We'll get a replay up here very shortly.
This is the first heavy contact accident we've had tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how much damage the 22 is sustained from this. Garrett Mains was the one.
That looks like net code, Bucky. I'm not certain. We'll take
it does. It does to me. Just the way just simply by the way the 22 shot to the right up into the wall.
Yeah, keep in mind.
Sorry, blink. This definitely got to be net code. This Kernan Church is blinking really bad.
Right here, if you look, it's a kind of a bad angle. But if you looked earlier, there was about a foot between the two of the cars. And I believe, can we
have a chopper cam possibly?
Yeah, give that a shot if you could, Mr. Producer. I appreciate that. Right here, take a look. Oh, he got loose.
Yeah, there's definitely net code. There was no touch. It was like that bubble, Ray. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, with that flashing, I got to agree with you. Yeah, he what it is with net code, we talked about it before. Basically, iRacing servers have got to keep in mind where the cars are on the track. And if you've got a bad connection, it's hard for them to read them. So this is what happens when a car gets within a distance of another car. They kind of look at it as a block in the computer's mind anyways. And in their mind, there's a little bit of interruption in the connection, and they touch. So, Bucky, opinion time. You told me that this is a one-stop race. There are over 137 laps at this point. What do you think? A lot of guys running that bottom.
Well, it was supposed to be a one-stop race if it stayed green the whole way, but this is short track racing. It's not going to happen. So I guess they don't plan on pitting again, Ray. I think they are pretty committed to possibly running this race the rest of the way. I could be wrong. I'm no expert, but from my experience racing here, they can definitely do this on one stop.
They're doing a pretty good job as it is. I'm wondering, obviously, running it in 4th gear. We see what you said on the apron. It's the shortest way around the track. That's why you see a lot of guys get down there in that little short time. They can save that little bit of fuel, and that'll extend it towards the end. By the way, Garrett Mains all the way back in 6th place spot right now. Fresh tires, green flag back in the air. Pace car obviously off. And there's a jump to the front. Critchley's got it. Navarro's there in 2nd to the bottom side. Navarro trying to close the gap. It looks like Mains got a really high line run. He gets by the 51 of Wilson, shoots it down the backstretch. Looks to the inside, Navarro to take over 2nd. Not there just yet, but he's got the hole.
Garrett Mains making the charge on Navarro. He's going to look underneath him.
I thought I seen a spin, yeah.
71, it looks like again. This is the 3rd spin around that he's had tonight that I can remember, right?
I'm going to say he had help with that one because that's what it looked like at the end. But Green is still out. And the reason being he was in the grass, a little oversteer by the 2. Navarro, by the way, in 3rd, looking to the inside to get it back from Mains. Mains up in the 3rd groove, leaves the bottom wide open. And Mains with a huge run for the momentum off the corner. He's trying to get that car back up to the tail end of Critchley. He closes it up about 3 car lengths coming out of 4.
That's right. Garrett Mains.
Garrett Mains right now in second. 5 cars back from the leader, Chrisley. Again, on your main screen, the number 27 car showing up on the paint. That is 54 on our counter, so keep in mind at the top, a little bit of differences going on. Regardless, he is out front by about 3 lengths now. You're going to watch Mains kind of work on him. Both of them on the same amount of tires that they've had. Lap 143 is going to be in the books next time around. Mains really shortens up that corner off of turn 4. He'll bring it down the front stretch and gains on him a little bit.
I'm curious why they did not throw the yellow there. I guess it's fine. We're going to stay green here, but Curtis Chrisley is your leader. He's got now about a car length and a half. It's really, I just noticed he enters the corner maybe about a car length and a half, and then in the middle of the turn, the number 1 of Garrett Mains gets right up to the bumper, and then he just pulls back away. Do you think Garrett Mains is just saving his tires right now?
Well, it could be. I mean, he's on the bottom there, right there through 3 and 4, and like he's been doing all night long. And if you watch the arc, it's kind of high. No, normal arc down, second groove right now. Hit to the bottom, coming out of the 2 with that little momentum he's got. So it's the same line he's been running all night, whether he's got old or new tires. That's what got my curiosity. And, man, he just pulled up pretty quick there to that Curtis Chrisley machine. By the way, a 71 of Peyton Howell is in the pits. He's 3 laps down to the leaders that they passed at the stripe on lap 147. And, by the way, you were right, Bucky. The 51 had a south spin earlier. That was the second caution of the night. And the officials threw it then. I'm not sure why they didn't throw it this time for the 71.
I would assume possibly because he's been in just about every wreck tonight. I don't know if they may have parked him and no one else was involved is a possibility. It's fun to the grass, but anyway, it doesn't really matter because they stayed green here, and Andrew Navarro is being challenged by the 51 of Bradley Wilson. Bradley Wilson's going to get loose there trying to make the pass. What a turn of events for the 51. Goes a lap down. Caution comes out. Gets the lucky dog. Is able to pit. And he just marches his way through the field. He is battling for the 3rd position right now against your points leader.
And it looks like he might have it. Nope, not this time off of turn 4. He was to the side. The nose is at the driver's door of Navarro, but doesn't pull it off this time. Navarro running that second groove of that number 2 machine. Beautiful red car he's got out there. If you watch, let's see if he comes second groove right down through 3 and 4. The same exact groove for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Watch that number 2. He'll stay in the second groove. Again, 51 sees that bottom open. Doesn't have the momentum to get there. He's actually got to slow it down to make the car turn. But he's got a little bit to get to him, then loses it off the turn. But back up front, Garrett Mains still working our leader. It's a 54, Curtis Chrisley. Mains has kind of gained and falls back, gains, falls back. But, again, not necessarily a long way to go. 49 laps to go right now, last time going across start-finish line.
I think Curtis Chrisley being the leader and having Garrett Mains putting the pressure on when he wants to, I think is really going to burn the tires on the 54. And I think that's what Garrett Mains is wanting to do. But we've got battles all over the racetrack. The 87 is going to get turned by the 53. You saw it live right there as it happened.
Seth Cole working our camera angles tonight, doing a fantastic job. And you just caught one live. Yeah, it was almost like he had those powers, you know? Yeah. ESP? SEP? Is that what it is? So we're going to bring ESPN powers. That's what it is. So coming off of turn 4, here's where the run was there. And unfortunately, the 87 lost her end just a little bit to lose a bit of traction. And that got him to the point where 53 of Brandon Hawk caught up to him and spun him, unfortunately, off turn 4. 6th caution of the night, again, here at New Smyrna.
Well, we know now if they decide to come down pit road, they definitely can make it the rest of the way, even though I was confident they could do it without having to pit again. So that leaves me here. We are just under, we got 45 laps to go. Green, maybe 43 to go. Ray, would you come in and get your tires now or save that set? We got some guys coming in and get tires now. I guess that answers that question.
I think now would be the time to get them, absolutely.
Yeah, but if I'm Garrett Mains and Curtis Chrisley and Navarro, I'm waiting. I'm gonna hold off on it, and think that we might get a late race caution, and that's when you put them on.
See, I'm wondering about the 7D car or the number 7 of Fulton, because here's the deal. Fulton only took left side tires on that pit stop. That was kind of funky. I've never seen. I usually see rights. But in this case, I just saw left. So I'm wondering if during the pit stop before, he may have taken those right side tires and now obviously put the left-hand set on. So we'll see if that makes any difference with that 7 machine. Again, riding along here with Derek Fulton, and
could be that, or he's wanting to save a right side for late in the race.
For late in the
so
race,
he's not at that
well.
much of a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's actually a good thought as well. You never know. I mean, like we were talking about fuel strategies, and man, I'll tell you, everybody's got fuel, tire, any strategy they can to make this race last them to the end. 54 Chrisley, by the way, now I'm seeing a little bit of right side damage to that car. Nothing serious, not as bad as the left, but definitely some wrinkled fenders, none the least. He is
I'm just
leading
trying to
our
figure out
pack.
what kind of car that is.
I
Because I know that the
Toyota.
number-
I'm not certain.
I don't know. Maybe a Pontiac. I don't know. I know that the number 2 is a Honda, and you got a Mustang for Garrett Mains,
Yep.
and then can't really tell the rest of these guys because they've got the lights covered up.
Yeah, I gotta say, Navarro's got the coolest paint job of that Honda. I actually seen one time on here. I seen a Tesla.
What is that?
Job.
I was almost able to read it here on the bumper cam. I just can't make out what it says.
CGN. I'm not sure what the car is.
No,
CGN chassis.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was the name of the car. Trying to tell by those tail lights there.
Could be a homemade
maybe a
deal
Cam-
too. You never know.
No, it could be a Camry.
Watching that front bumper cam a minute ago from Navarro's pace car pulling off again for the 7th time tonight. Green flag back in the air. Mains on the outside. Good jump. Beats him to the start-finish line like Chrisley did before. Mains has got the way to drive this car. Arcs it a little bit to the top side. Momentum off the turn 2. Gets him by a nose down through turn 3.
Curtis Chrisley's not going to give it to him easy. They're going to make contact on the exit of 4. But Garrett Mains, in my opinion, he's got the run right here.
Did you see him launch that car? I mean, Chrisley had it for a minute. Mains just got right back in that throttle, and that car come right back to life coming off of 4. Turn 2 does the same identical thing, brings it down to the bottom of turn 3 where he's been running all night long. No logo on the front of that 54 machine, or 27 as you see in the paint job there. Just says CGN actually. And we got some bumping going on in the back. 43's turned sideways. Lee Morgan able to hold on to it. No, turn Church. Goes to the bottom. He has stopped on the bottom of the inside of the track. Green flag still out at this point.
Yeah.
They're going to let it go at this point, too.
Yep, Kernan Church he's got quite a bit of damage, but the battle's really up front because Curtis Chrisley is showing some muscle right here. I still think Garrett Mains is the car to beat tonight and the class of the field, but Chrisley's really putting it on him right now.
Now, these are the top 2 class guys that you've seen. Again, one of them for the virtual Snowball Derby this past weekend. That's Chrisley. Mains with the Coca-Cola iRacing Series in NASCAR E-Series next year here on iRacing. And that's the number 1 Smithfield machine. You're watching to the outside. And this is what we want to see. These guys battle it out to the end. Lap 164. And only 37 laps to go. We're going to get down to go time here at just under a half-mile speedway, 0.48 in New Smyrna.
That's right. Curtis Chrisley, you mentioned, competed in the virtual Snowball Derby. So he's kind of stayed in Florida with that being in the Panhandle area. And then we're going to come down to near Daytona at New Smyrna to put on a race here tonight with these guys. But what a battle here. Side by side, Garrett Mains on the outside. You got to wonder, is Garrett Mains, he's going to, well, as I was saying, it pretty much answers it for me. Is he going to, well, I was going to ask you, Ray, you think Garrett Mains is going to let him have the position so he can kind of get the preferred line?
Well, that's what I was thinking in the long run with Garrett. Either he gets by him or gets smart. And that's what he just did, was get smart after running about a good hard 3 or 4 laps there on the outside. But that'll wear your stuff out. Example, the 71. He was earlier on the outside line, Peyton Howell, and, man, he just couldn't hold it and finally wore his stuff out. That was on fresher tires than anybody in back. Yep. 4 spots he went. So, yeah, right now, the smart way to do is exactly what he did. By the way, 53 on the move. That's Brandon Hawk in 3rd.
Yeah, and not only that, you had Fulton there trying to make a move on Navarro is what you see on your screen, and right behind him is the 87 of Ron Hart. But Andrew Navarro under siege there, but the 53 is all over Garrett Mains for 2nd.
Hawk wanting to wear him out pretty quickly. If not, he's got fresher tires than them. He's right to the back bumper. The 1 down through turn 2, and they'll go. Down the back chute. Looks like the 53 is trying the inside, but Mains says, that's my spot, man. He goes to the bottom like he's been doing every single time down through turn 3. And that 53 of Hawk is just all over the decklet of that number 1. I don't think, a little bit of tap. Hey, dude, I'm back here. And
all over the decklet. He's up underneath it.
I don't think that Mains is very much intimidated, to be honest with you, because he's holding his line every time and doing a great job on that throttle and braking going through the corners.
But with Brandon Hawk putting the pressure on Garrett Mains, it's allowed Curtis Chrisley to kind of pull away from these guys.
Lap 171 is in the books, 30 laps to go this time around. And Mains, like you were saying, Bucky, he's kind of fallen back a little bit with the threat of the 53 behind him. Hawk is just doing his best to keep to his tail. We see right now the number 2 Navarro to the outside, Derek Fulton going to the inside. It looks like the 87 Ron Hart has made it around. Hart right now up in the being shown in 5th place position. And it looks like that 51 machine's ahead of him.
Yeah, Brandon Hawk actually leaned on Garrett Mains there for 2nd place.
8 tires are better than 4, Bucky, and that's one thing that he's learned. The 53 of Hawk is just keeping with Mains right up with him. And it looks like Hawk has got the advantage. Will Main use the momentum? Not this time off of turn 4, but to the outside he'll go. Still trying to hold him off. Like we were talking about being smart, now would be the time to let Hawk go and fall in behind him. Because, dude, you're getting within 25 to go, and it's going to be one killer shootout from here on in.
That's right. Let him go, but don't let him go far. And you know what? 8 tires are better than 4, but not when they're sideways.
So I agree with you there.
But 25 laps to go coming up here at the line, and we've got a battle for the lead. Where did Brandon Hawk come from? But it looks like we might have a lap car up ahead, Ray.
Yeah, that Hawk machine, by the way, the 53. Watch him work that wheel out of the corner of the screen there by the 7 C's Cruises, Corporate Cruises 200 logo down the lower left-hand side of your screen. He is working that through every corner. Down the chute he'll go, riding right now from the helmet cam of that number 53 machine. That is your leader ahead, right ahead of them, like you were just saying, Bucky. That's the 22 of Curran Church, who spun earlier. Still being on the lead lap, but it ain't going to be for long.
Brandon Hawk's going to run, and did they make contact? I couldn't tell, Ray, but that was pretty close. Brandon Hawk is all over. Oh, he's going to get into him.
Right close. Hawk with the advantage back. Looks like Chrisley takes it back, though, to the front. And it looks like Hawk is trying to get back to him to get the challenge. Hawk arcs it to the bottom, looking for the hole. Nothing's there this time. Chrisley comes off the corner, pulls him by about 2 car lengths. Main isn't necessarily falling back, but I think he's waiting for the wreck up ahead.
Yeah.
And these two are just fighting like cats and dogs.
I was going to say, Ray, as I think Garrett Mains noticed that the 53 was pretty aggressive to get to the lead. And Garrett Mains like, oh, hey, you go ahead. You do my dirty work. I'm just going to sit here and be in the catbird seat so I can miss it and go to victory lane. I really think that's what he was thinking, because these guys are using up their stuff, and guess who's not?
Well, Mains
number
is right
1
there.
car.
Yep,
that's
he's
right.
Doing it smart. Drive smarter, not harder. But I'm going to tell you what, it's some damn hard driving up front. 53 of Hawk to the inside. He's got the point this time. Will there be momentum? No, the crossover works. The 53 to the point. He'll lead that lap. That's lap 180. 20 laps to go now here at New Smyrna.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if this is when the number 1 of Garrett Mains starts to make his move. We're under 20 laps to go. I think he puts the pressure on with about 15 laps to go. I think we might have lost. Oh, we're back with the stream. I think Garrett Mains puts the pressure on at 15 to go, Ray.
Well, watching that 53 car, he has got the point, and he is pulling away from Curtis Chrisley. So here's the deal. If Mains is going to do anything, like you were saying, 15 laps to go, we're still right now 18 laps to go. 19, excuse me, looking at the counter in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. I mean, he's got to do it pretty quickly. So watch for that one. Maybe he's cooling down the tires. Hopefully, if that's the case, he'll get some traction back. But right now, he's got a threat from behind from the 87 of Ron Hart.
That's not what he needs. That's for sure. I'm trying to understand. There's no way he burned up his stuff.
No, I don't think so.
There's no way.
I don't think so either.
Because I think he needs to go right now. If this thing stays green, he has to go right now because these laps go by quickly. And Navarro, your points leader, caution is out. He wrecks it on the backstretch. He went for a wild ride, Ray, and he's got a ton of damage on the right front.
Caution number 7.
Machine.
Caution number 7 here out at New Smyrna, the number 2 car. We're going to see what happened to him. Not sure exactly. Coming off of, there's turn 1, the front stretch. Get a replay going here. Really down to the bottom, loses the rear end just for a second, gathers it back up. Out of 2, he'll go and tries to. Oh, the 51 came off the wall and tapped him hard.
Yeah. And he's got, significant damage. Yeah, so it looks like the 2 kind of gave the 51 a shot there, and it really screwed up his entry to the turn. And he was able to get it in the fence. And when he bounced off, the 2 was there, and the 2 had nowhere to go. So he's going to get into him there. 51 screwed up the corner because of it, bounces off the wall, comes down, and the 2 just went for a wicked ride. And he's got significant damage. So trouble here for your points leader with 1 race left to go.
Yeah, Navarro is on pit road, obviously, at this point in time. Now would be the time to get in there if you have one more set of tires left to get them. And no one has taken that advantage. I'm going to look one more time as we get back
I'm Garrett Mains. I'm coming down.
Yeah, I would think that'd be a smart move to do personally.
Because he's got a set that we know of. If I have a set, I'm coming down, Ray.
Yeah,
because
you're going to have...
they've been on these tires for what, 50-plus laps now?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, it looks like everybody's staying out. I mean, if they can hold it, great. If you're to the back, you got one more set left, you got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, that'd be the time to come in.
Maybe they're thinking track position is more important than tires. Because really, tires is not really that big of a deal here unless you're like running hard every lap. But I'm really surprised. If I had a set and I was Garrett Mains in third, I'm definitely coming down. You obviously have the fastest car here tonight. Go ahead, because he wasn't making any moves to catch these guys. So I would come down pit road, get the tires, and I don't know, maybe it's too close to make up that ground.
I'm not certain.
Hey, this is their race and they're running it. We're just calling it. Yeah. But either way, he's going to be right there up front on this restart. So maybe he felt like this was where he needed to be.
Time to rack them and stack them here, Bucky. Lap 189 is what we're on. We're going to restart on lap 190. It's going to be an 11-lap flat-out shootout. Everybody looks going to be on the same rubber with the exception, I believe, of Navarro, who is going to restart back in the 9th position. By the way, behind him, Kernan Church is going to be there in the top 10. Peyton Howell in the 71 is 22 laps down in the pits. They'll come around turn 3 for the last time tonight, hopefully, if Green stays out. And here we go. Back in the air it goes. Chrisley with the jump off the start.
That's right. Garrett Mains is making the move up the middle, but the 53 is going to shut the door on him. We've got a battle here, Ray. Curtis Chrisley is your leader. Brandon Hawk second. Garrett Mains is fighting for third with Ron Hart on the outside.
Right now, Chrisley's got the advantage off the corner. It looks like the 53 is going to fall in behind him. Not just yet. He'll hammer it to the bottom. The 87 comes down, touches the 1 of Garrett Mains, but that'll put the 87 to the top. Mains back in third, and he'll take off like a rocket for a couple car lengths in front of the 87, but the 87 coming back. Gets to the rear bumper of the 1. They come around turn 4. Everybody single file all the way back to 6.
The 1 has got to go now. If he has any shot to win this race, he's got to get around the 53 of Brandon Hawk right now because laps are coming down. We're coming to 8 to go. Curtis Chrisley, your leader. Brandon Hawk second. Garrett Mains all over Hawk for third. Or he's in third, but he's all over for second.
Down to the single digits now, Bucky. 8 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Down through turn 1. Mains still holding his own, but I'll tell you what, watch that Hawk machine to the inside of Chrisley. He's going to try it. Doesn't have momentum. He's got to back off. Gives the advantage to Mains. Mains comes up, touches the rear bumper of the 53. Now gives the advantage to the 87. Accordions everybody back to 4th place. 87 to the inside. He's got the position to the inside of Mains. Mains is up in the second groove. Will he have the momentum off the corner? He will. He'll pull the 87 of Ron Hart just for a little bit. We'll see if it plays all over again down through turn 4.
That's right. Brandon Hawk got in the back of the 54 of Chrisley. Then the number 1 of Garrett Mains got in the back of Brandon Hawk, which caused Ron Hart to make a move, but it just kind of fanned back out. Now we're running single file again. Curtis Chrisley is your leader, but not by much.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Mains, see if anything's going to change. Again, one of our top-notch drivers. And Chrisley is to the point. He's, again, one of our other drivers. It looks like Hawk is putting on a show himself. He's trying to get that lead back. I'm going to believe that 53's front bumper is going to turn chrome pretty quick within the last 5 laps, and that's where we're at right now. So keep an eye up front. 53 right off the, holy cow, right up to the bumper. of Chrisley in that 27/54 machine. Down through turn 1, 4 laps to go.
I can definitely see a bump in the run in the future for the 54. That's for sure. But the number 1 says, hey, let me make the bump and run. I'm coming in. Battle for second.
Mains trying off at turn 4. The room was there, but it closed up pretty quickly. Got a little crowded from the 53 machine. The 87, Ron Hart, right behind him. Now everybody goes to the outside. I think that's a bad move for Hawk. I know there's space out there, but it's not the fastest way around this track. Opens the bottom door for Mains. Around turn 4, he'll take a tap to the right rear, to the left front fender of the 53. Mains has got the inside advantage right now in the 53. 2 laps to go.
We literally have a 4-car battle for the lead. Curtis Critchley, your leader. Brandon Hawk fighting for his life in second place, but he's going to get loose and touch Garrett Mains. I think it's going to do it, Ray. We got 2 laps to go.
1 lap right now. White flag is in the air, and it looks like the 53 is hung out to drive. It gives the 87 an advantage for third. We'll see if he can hold on to that, but it looks like Mains is going to take over the second spot.
Mains
and for the top spot tonight, Curtis Critchley will be your winner here at New Smyrna Speedway in Florida. Great race at the end.
Yeah, congratulations is in order for Curtis Critchley there. Garrett Mains tried it. He just didn't have enough there at the end. Can't wait to talk to him to see what he has to say, because I am curious, Ray, to see a little extracurricular activity after the race.
Yeah, we'll run down the list of finishing orders here for you. We'll get that out of the way first, obviously. And with that all being said, we'll be pulling up your top 3 here very shortly. Right now, Curtis Critchley takes the win home tonight in that 54/27 machine. Did a great job staying up top most all night. Garrett Mains will take home the second spot. Ron Hart will take home third in the 87. Brandon Hawk in the 53 machine will take home fourth. Derek Fulton made his way back up after a bit of a spin early, 5th spot. 6th will be Bradley Wilson.
Billy Gray will be 7th. 8th will be Andrew Navarro. Kieran Church, after a rough night, he's a come-home 9th. Morgan is your 10th place finisher in the 43. Peyton Howell, who led some laps here tonight, but then ran into some trouble, he's going to finish 11th. Jonathan Bell finished 12th. And Pete Polini, who did not initially start the race, he is going to finish in 13th place.
Well, I'd like to get our top 3 up here, but I only see 2 in chat. So first one we'll pull up here will be Garrett Mains, and we'll get a word with Garrett in the number 1 machine. Second place tonight, Garrett Mains. Great run, buddy, at the end. We thought you had something for Critchley. Did you, is the biggest question from the last 10 laps.
I think I made a mistake making that pit stop. I didn't really expect there to be more yellows. They were going to run out of gas if it gone green, but right away we get a yellow. So I was like, well, that's not what I wanted. I just had my work cut out for me, and Critchley had been fast all night, either matching my pace or a tick faster. So I knew I was probably in a bad spot, and then tire strategy kicked in. So even if there was a yellow, I wasn't going to be able to capitalize on it. But heck of a run by him.
Did you have an extra set, or did you use both of them in the race?
Well, we only had 1 set of tires, and so you only got to. Yeah, it was the set you start with was counted as 1. So
yeah, we just counted that.
Yeah, we tried to play that with taking the tires as late as possible without being in a position to have to take them under green to get any benefit. So I didn't want to be in that position, and people played tire strat. They made it work. I got lucky to get by him at the last second. Me and Brandon were racing pretty hard there, and him trying to get by Critchley really helped me. So I'll take that. I mean, in the end, it was good points tonight. I needed to make up a few on Andrew, and I think we did that. So considering the way the season started with the no-show, it definitely was an uphill battle. So
Garrett, I'll tell you, I mean, we watched you all night long, kind of running that consistent line. Most of the time you were on the bottom through 3 and 4, arcing on the corners to turn 2. Did that seem to save on tires in your long run, or is it something that Chen just gave you speed and it didn't matter about the tires?
I don't think tires mattered tonight. It was really weird. Tire saving per se. It was mainly about not scorching them, and I did that on the final restart, or the next to final restart, where I got passed from the lead. I lit them up on the initial start, to get the run into turn 1 off the green flag, and I never got it back. I I basically was spinning them so badly that the RPMs went up and then down and then back up in third gear. And I'm like, that's really bad when you shift and you spin them all the way through second, halfway through third. That's bad. So I just knew I was in a bad situation after that. Just couldn't get him cooled down. I tried saving, but Chrisley ain't stupid. He took advantage of that. So
just looks at the shot of the 600 plus horsepower and these little low machines with these real wide stances to them. Again, Garrett, congratulations on second place tonight. Now is your opportunity. As always, man, who do you want to thank?
Hey, I think Smithfield, 101 CBD, Sim Seats, Strickland Hardy, Bradley Mechanical, Lennox, all the guys at Elliott Sadler Esports for the killer cars we've had this year in pro, and for all the hard work that they've put in for that. And also shout out to the guys at Richmond Raceway Esports for their support.
Garrett Mains, number one car, but second place this evening. He'll take home the second place and possibly a championship. I'm believing it's going to move you up about Navarro in the points, depending on what happens with their points mix-up. We'll see you next week again here on Flatout Racing Network. Curtis Chrisley, our winner tonight, by the way. He takes over the first spot, ran a hard race with that 54 machine. And again, I'll let Bucky take it from here.
Curtis Chrisley, congratulations on your first place win. There was a hard-fought battle there with Garrett Mains all throughout the entire race. Talk about it for us.
Man, I don't even know what to say. I was speechless. Like, that was the hardest race I ever driven. I found pace into at the start of the race, and I was surprised I was tracking Garrett. So I just tried to keep on the tires nice and cool. I feel like that was the big key, was keeping the tires cool, because I lost that race on that second last restart. I overheated the tires and I lost the lead there. But under the caution, I made sure to do everything I could to keep those tires cool. And I was also starting on the outside, and the outside had like amazing grip on the front stretch and turn 1 and 2. So the restart game was like so easy on the outside.
When we talked to Garrett, we found out that you guys, in fact, only had one extra set after the set you started on. We were under the impression the whole race you had 2 sets to change. So now knowing that for us, what was your strategy going into this race? Obviously, you don't know when cautions are going to fall, but were you banking on, if this stays green, maybe a 1 pit stop race? Could you have made it on fuel on that way? Tell us about that.
Yeah, if the race went green all the way, I was going to go 2 stints and then take gas and then tires, or tires on after the second stint. But I was thinking about pitting right before that caution came out to where we did take tires. So it played pretty well to my strategy. But the cautions at the end, it got a little bit more yellow near the end, and I don't know, man. I'm speechless. I'm shocked that happened.
Well, you put on a great show for the win there against one of the best on iRacing and Garrett Mains. And big win for you. Definitely needed it for your points position. So who do you got to thank for tonight?
I got to thank Beeley Farms. They're my biggest supporter. They've been around forever for me. And also I'd like to thank out my new kind of team, Critchley Gallant Nichols chassis, which is what's featured on the car, and also Phantom Graphics and Outlaw Esports. These people, I could not be here without them.
Well, I'm sorry, Bucky. Go ahead, buddy.
No, you go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say, but I didn't interrupt you there. I just had 2 quick things I wanted to point out. Is that CGN? Is that your body style? Because we were trying to figure out what kind of car you got. We didn't sure if it was a Toyota or if it was it wasn't a Chevy by any means. But what is that body style?
It's the CGN. It's kind of like
That's
a fantasy
what
chassis.
I thought. Gotcha.
Yeah.
We were curious about that. And the second thing I want to say, congratulations to you, not just for getting the win tonight, but getting involved in the iRacing official Snowball Derby this past weekend. And I'm not going to keep you too much longer, but give us a little rundown. How was it to run with the big boys there in the Snowball Derby in Pensacola?
Oh, it was a tough field, man. Starting from the back, especially too. I just tried to keep my stuff together, and then I think we put ourselves in great position at the end. We made the right call to get tires and track position at the end, and we got ourselves up to 8th. But then, restarts in the final 100 laps got crazy and 3 wide, and we just got taken out. Still able to bring home. Never gave up though.
Did a fantastic job, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Bucky, anything more for our winner this evening?
I'm good. Congratulations on the win. You guys put on one hell of a race tonight, and it was fun to watch. That's for sure. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So that was our winner tonight, Curtis Chrisley, again from the back. He made it up through. Actually, I should say it this way. He started on the outside of the front row. And when it was inverted, the number one machine was on the point because, again, our pole sitter, Pete Polini, unfortunately did not make the start of the race. So with that all being said, we appreciate you joining us. Bucky, any last words here from New Smyrna?
Yeah, so, it's now that we got to find out that through Garrett and Curtis that these guys only had one set to change it, it really put this race into perspective.
Yeah,
and the fact that Garrett Mains, obviously the class of the field, made one little mistake and it changed the outcome of the race for him, whereas your winner Curtis made the same exact mistake earlier in the race, but ended up paying off for him in the end. So it's just these little things that happen throughout the race that now you see the big picture. And another thing, we saw where Derek Fulton, who finished fifth tonight, he actually took 2 tires on one stop, and I assume 2 tires on the other stop. So maybe he felt since tires weren't really that big of a deal tonight, maybe he felt that if he can get maybe right sides on late in the race or left sides, that he'd have a little bit of an advantage. But he comes out of here with a 5th place finish. Just all in all, a great race. This is literally my favorite track on iRacing as far as short tracks goes. So I'm pleased with the outcome. It was a fun race to watch. One more to go, Ray.
Yeah, one more next week, just before Christmas, and everything ends for the series until the next time in spring. So again, my name is Ray Richer for Bucky Burt, Seth Cole on the controls and cameras tonight. We appreciate you watching the 7 Seas Corporate Cruises and Events 200 here from New Smyrna Speedway. Until next week on the Flatout Racing Network, we